The last thing I wanted to talk to you about, and you mentioned it yourself, is the bareback blowjob and oral on you.
Yes.
And I'm betting that's probably on your item list.
On my list, yeah, definitely.
Cool. Okay, so you lead. Talk to me about what's in your mind.
Yeah, I think having come from working in brothels, like, I mean, I started before decrim, so it was technically illegal to do bareback blowjob. Obviously, girls still did it, and that's fine. I have never done it once in my working history, because I think you just obviously become super comfortable with condoms, and it feels, for me, I could give a blowjob to anyone with condom on. Do you know what I mean? It just, it's like very separated. It feels, yeah. I think I am open to doing it for the right amount of money, and provided that I can, I've been thinking about it a lot, provided that I can, I think I wrote about it in the questionnaire, having some way to, I don't think I necessarily want to be doing it off the bat with a new client. I think I'd want to be able to, first of all, suss them out, know how, aggressive they're going to be, or, if they're going to push your head down or grab your head or all of those kind of things. I'd want to be aware of, prior to the fact, and that would alter what I may or may not offer them. And then the other thing for me, I think, and particularly doing massage, we don't do like a health check, like official health check at the start of the booking, like you would do in a brothel. So for me, I do my health check when I'm massaging. So once they flipped over, I'm having a good look, but like inconspicuously, they just think that I'm just having a nice little play around in their groin. But
because it looks so good and appealing.
So good, I just want to I can't stop staring at it. Oh my god, So you're like you just that's how I kind of do my health check, and you can pull the foreskin back, and by then they're hard, so you can. If they've got gunk behind their foreskin that, is hidden when they're soft, you're going to see it. You're going to get a smell. You're going to see if there's any weird lumps that are popping up, in random spots that you might not be able to see otherwise. So I think for me, doing a health check at the start of the booking, you get a general idea of what's going on. But I think I don't know. In some cases, I might be happy to offer it straight from just the normal health check. But I feel like I would need to be able to have a real deep dive into the antique to see first whether or not. And I think I would also, I don't know, I think I'd be much more inclined to offer it to people who are circumcised, because then it's just all out in the open. And not to say that circumcised or uncircumcised is a definitive, thing that impacts whether or not someone's got an STI or whatever. But I feel like I've got complex feelings around it, but I think I am open to it, but it would have to be for the right rate. And
okay.
But I'm very open to hear your thoughts on all of that as well.
And we'll come back to that in a second. I've got thoughts to discuss with you. The dental dam on you, what's the significance of that for you?
For me, I don't know. Even in my personal life, I've never enjoyed oral on me. I just find it. So I think it's a sensory thing, to be honest. I've never enjoyed it. I've never come from it. And obviously that's, not the point when you're with clients, but I find it a sensory overload nightmare. So having a dental dam does help with that a little bit. So I obviously would prefer it like that. But again, I'm very aware of the fact that most clients are going to want a natural, and I am open to that. But I think it would have to be for the right rate. But
okay. With oral on you without a dental dam, are you less concerned about STIs? It's more just that you personally find it uncomfortable, therefore you only want to do it for the right amount of money?
Yeah, I think, obviously STIs is a concern, but, obviously doing a health check of their mouth, making sure that there's no cuts or nicks or anything like that. That's all you really can do. So I don't think I'm super concerned about that, but it's more I just fucking hate the feeling of it.
All right.
What
the right rate for you is in a second.
Yeah.
But let's talk about this, because this is either way, whichever way you'd go, whatever service you choose to offer, totally up to you. And I'm not here I have no like emotional investment in what you choose to do.
Definitely. Yeah.
I will tell you some facts commercially and sexual health wise, because similar to you, I started in Melbourne working in a brothel. It was illegal. Not only was it legal, but it was frowned down upon.
Massively.
You know what they were like?
Oh yeah, if you find out that someone doing this, oh my god, those stunts, Which I don't, for the record, I don't like that. I'm like, any worker should be able to decide to do what they want. I believe in that, but when the standard isn't that, there's a massive shame around it.
When I moved from parlour to private work, and I was managed by somebody, she basically said to me off the bat, look, if you're not going to offer a natural oral, I'm not going to take you on, because I can just not be able to get the weight from you. And it wasn't. I got along with her really well. Her name was certainly it wasn't like you have to do this or else. She was just commercially like, if you don't offer this, you're not going to be able to charge. We started at 7 an hour. And we had a 60-40 split. So she was just like, I'm not going to make the money from you. You're not going to make the money from it. So, like,
and that's what I just really, I definitely have that in the back of my mind. I'm like, I'm aware of the fact that when you are charging that rate, you can't be having like, I mean, look, you could have those restrictions and say, no, I'm not going to do that, not going to do this. But of a pool of clients who are going to pay that higher rate, which is already smaller than the majority, how much more are you going to be reducing that? So,
we'll come back to the commercial side, because the truth is I've seen girls make a good amount of money offering a covered blowjob at a decent rate. Like, we're talking like $600 an hour. I've seen it work if you get the profile right. But it's certainly been a limitation. But like, should we just all start doing natural sex and cream pie and all this stuff?
Like, am I just going to throw the wind?
Totally. Like, only
you can decide where the limit is.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, I might have to try it out and see how I feel. You know what I mean? Because I haven't done those things. It might just be a matter of trial and error and see, what works.
Okay. I'll tell you how I approach this, and you can go away and think about this for yourself. I went to 3 different doctors and actually spoke to them directly about what are the risks offering uncovered oral versus covered oral. I'll tell you the answers they gave me, but I'm not a doctor. This isn't medical advice. You need to figure out these answers for yourself, but I'll pass on my experience. And you can find this information online. The things that you're at greater risk for are primarily chlamydia, gonorrhea, herpes, and warts.
This is for oral on a penis.
Correct.
My main concern, I would say the biggest thing for me with oral on a client is HPV. Obviously, because that would be annoying to have to deal with, but because of that's like the leading thing of leading cause of throat cancer, I'm pretty sure, is what I've heard in women because of unprotected oral.
Okay, as in herpes?
No, HPV. Warts.
Oh,
warts is from HPV. Yeah.
Okay.
But even just like there's other strains of HPV that don't cause warts that they can be a risk factor for cancer.
Okay, sure.
All right.
I didn't get that level of detail from my doctors, actually. More focus on the sexual health. And essentially, they were the 4 things. I went in there mostly concerned about HIV, and they were basically like, the likelihood of getting HIV from an uncovered oral is, and then there's other services like covered mouth, etc. Is they would have to be kind of like so evidently sick.
Would be such a high load.
It could actually be passed through cum, because it's really passed through blood. So that was like comforting.
Chlamydia and gonorrhea are the most common things.
And they're they're super contagious, and you can't see. They often have no symptoms. However, they're easily treated relatively easily. You're going to need to take some of them off.
Take some antibiotics and
Correct. I mean, legally you should be getting tested every 3 months. I personally got off full everything, like throat swab, everything once a month because I was pretty okay about it.
I think if I was going to do, I get tested every 3 months, just based off what the law used to be. But I think if I was DHR for these things, I would probably go monthly just to get,
Okay, all right. The two things that they made clear to me was the herpes and warts. Obviously, and particularly with warts, if you're doing an inspection properly, you're typically going to see it.
Yeah.
The issue with herpes is that clients will be contagious before they present signs.
Yeah, you can be symptomatic.
Yeah, that being said, someone who has genital herpes will often feel a tingling, and therefore you hope that they don't come and use service. That is, you can't get rid of that if you get that. Now, what you kind of said about, I think I prefer to see them first and I want to know how full on they are. It doesn't matter how many times you've seen a client, you're at risk of all of those things regardless.
Anyway, definitely.
So it's really a decision for you on, now, in all the years that I worked, I got chlamydia once from another female escort, ironically. Both treatable, never had any other issues, and a lot of escorts I talked to the same. But the reality is with this job, your health is on the line, and if you do that service, there's only so much a visual health check can do. Decision as to what you're comfortable doing. But some of the things you just kind of put on the table, like obviously, or depends on how rough they are. Like you need to make a decision. Either you're comfortable doing it at whatever rate that might be, knowing that this could happen, or you're not, because it doesn't matter how many times you've seen a client, it doesn't matter how rough they are. If you're providing that service, you're at a higher risk of getting it.
Definitely.
It's kind of like a rationalization that actually just makes zero difference.
It's an interesting thing. I think it's just interesting, like being a worker, you're so like acutely aware of your sexual health and all of these things. But because of it's kind of a blessing and a curse, right? Because you're more informed and you're like, okay, well, I'm going to, we make decisions and we take care of our health in a way that's much more, at a higher level than the general population. But then sometimes I just have to remember there's people out there, just the general, like just guys even that I've dated and stuff, like they will take on risk in a sexual way that I'm like, do you even think? So I think I have to sometimes bring myself back down to reality. I can be very much like, okay, I want to eliminate all risk, but that's not practical. And it's definitely food for thought for me.
I get your point. The people I've known who have most STDs in my life have always been just normal people sleeping around.
Because they don't use condoms. People be fucking raw left, right, and center. And I'm like, wow, it's crazy.
Totally. But that being said, like the rest of the population is irrelevant.
Yes.
You're doing this job, there's layers of health risk. And uncovered oral is definitely a step up. And the reality is the frequency of your sexual partners is high.
Yes, exactly.
Most of your clients are probably seeing other escorts. Those escorts are also in touch with however many people. Like most clients are like frequent escort users. You don't like client. It's like a wall.
I'm a monogamous client.
Correct. So the reality is your exposure to other people as a sex worker, the fact that you're proactively getting tested and doing checks and stuff like that means that if there is anything, particularly chlamydia, gonorrhea, you're going to catch it and you're going to catch it fast. But you have to basically decide for yourself, and I do recommend you go and talk to some doctors about it. The herpes and the warts, like there is no solution to that.
Exactly.
The reality is, if we are going to charge $600 and above, if you don't do an uncovered blowjob, even if it says like for returning customers, like we're going, what I'm probably going to say is that we start at a slightly lower rate, that we start around the 500, 600. We're going to have to be really good with the marketing. Saying that I do like BBBJ for returning clients is not really a solution.
Yeah, because it's not going to incentivize them necessarily to come to start with.
Correct, exactly, because who wants to pay even $500 or $600 for something for the next time?
For the next time, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I could give you a million analogies for
Yeah.
$500 on, but I probably don't need to because you're a smart cookie. So it just means that we're probably, well, not probably, we will definitely start at a lower rate.
Yeah.
It might be that you are overall making more money around that price point because you get more booking. You're comfortable physically. Like, there's really no right or wrong. You just have to kind of make a decision. And even if we perhaps start there and see how you go, and then try to increase it at some point and see what happens. But when we start with a selfie profile, we start a little bit low on the rates anyway, but we wouldn't be going to an $800, $900, $1,000 an hour profile straight off the back with just a kind of blowjob, or with bareback blowjob for repeat customers only, because I think
it's not going to.
It just becomes for you financially. That's all.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Yeah, I think it's a smart idea to start off at the lower rate so that I can also test out my comfortability with those services. You know what I mean? I can offer it maybe where I choose to, if I'm like, and just to see how I react to it and see, because it's more of a mental thing for me. I'm sure that once I start doing it, maybe it will just become normal in it. Yeah, but I think I just need to kind of cross that bridge and see how I feel about it.
The only other option you have is you advertise it, and it just depends on like how open you really think you are. So I do get some escorts who are like, okay, I'm willing to do it, but I'm going to be selective. Therefore, on their profile, BBBJ, based on my discretion. And sometimes will be as explicit as based on my discretion and based on a health check. And then you just have to be confident, and I can teach you how to handle this. How do you handle in the room if the client presents and this is where it kind of depends on where's the boundary for you. So, for example, there are some girls who are just like, well, I want to be able to pull back the foreskin, blah, 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 but like, I'm going to be fine to do it. Okay, well, in that case, I'm probably going to recommend you put BBBJ at my discretion based on a health check. Other women are like, well, if they're not circumcised, if they're Indian, if they're this, if they're that. And I'm kind of like, look, if you're going to be saying no 8 out of 10 times.
The majority,
and if it's for a reason that feels a bit insensitive, i.e. because you're Indian.
I'm not, let's not that way.
Advertise it, because you're going to have, and look,
you're going to be declining.
You're just going to be having
multiple conversations in the room.
But having to actually have that conversation,
Totally, but then it also depends on how comfortable you are. Like, I've dealt with some escorts who are pretty feisty, and they're happy to look at me in the eye and say, I'm not doing it.
Take it all.
You don't have that conversation every day. So go away and like think about all of those considerations, because that will affect kind of like my recommendation. If it is more of a, look, I'm probably going to be okay, but I want to do a thorough health check. If there's anything that looks bad that I'm not doing it, then I would say put it on the profile with based on my discretion. Health check, and be fucking thorough with your health check.
I would say I think I would lean more towards at my discretion at a health check. And I've been known for doing a very thorough health check. I'm like sometimes probably at the expense of making them feel a bit uncomfortable. But for me, I'm like, I'd rather check properly, take my time, have really bright light, and know what I'm getting into and what I'm exposing myself to. So I think it would more be making sure I can check behind the foreskin. There's no gunk. There's no when they have that weird like behind the foreskin, the head is like almost like the skin. It's like breaking down. The skin is like degrading. No way. Like that's gross. But as long as it's like intact skin, there's no discharge, there's no gunk, I think I'd be fine.
Okay. Cool. And look, I don't know how much you've done this, but I used to have like a little cheeky spiel when I did the health check, because it is and I just like tried to do it in a flirty, fun way. And then if I did see something that I really disliked, I would get into the shower with my client and physically clean them myself.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So there are all things that we can do. Or for example, something that really used to bother me was smelly breath. Like just really Asian Indian clients who I would have to see.
Yeah.
I would just literally pour out a massive.
I know a girl who used to do this.
I would just
cheers it with them.
Yes, and I would cheers and be like, here's to a great booking. And if they didn't
do the whole thing,
I would literally say, you need to finish
the whole
She used to stand in front of the sink so they couldn't spit it out until she was done. So when they kept it in long enough, I'm like, that's gold. But yeah, those things are smart ways to make it more comfortable, definitely.
Cool. Okay. All right, I'm going to leave that topic here. You
think it through and we'll discuss.
If you've had a chance.
Yeah, sounds good.
If you want to learn more escorting tips, just click the link below this video.